appreciate everybody being here on this rainy morning. Looking forward to this week's game against Charlotte. Again, they're not having a great year record-wise. But like I've said and told our team, it doesn't matter who you play, it's why you play. And so we got to get ready to play this game this week. It's tough to win games on the road. It's especially tough to win conference games on the road. And if you look at Charlotte, especially in their conference games, they got beat by FIU by 1 point, Marshall by 11, and then Western Kentucky beat them pretty good. And then they lost last week 6-0 to Old Dominion. So they're playing good defense. They're struggling a little bit offensively, to score points there. But defensively, this is a good football team that we're getting ready to play. They're really good against the run. Statistically, they're good on third down as well. So this is not a game that, by the end of the stretch, it's that we can think we can go out there and not play our best and have a chance to win. And you look at the series, that first year we beat them 70 to 14 or something like that. And then last year, it's a 31-31 ball game with 3 or 4 minutes left in the game. And, Ty broke out a long run there to ice it for us. So, so you go and just look at last year's game, is enough to tell you that we've got to be ready to play a good game this weekend. So looking forward to it Saturday afternoon. I'll open it up to you guys.
Coach, sure they only have one win this season, but they have a lot of close losses, especially in conference. Are they a better team than what their record shows?
I think so. It's you just look at who they've played and the scores of those games. I mean, it's they're a competitive football team, and a break here or there, might have changed the outcome in some of those games. So, they've lost to some good teams, and they've hung in there and played them close. So we got to be ready to play. It's the bottom line. We got to be ready to go.
Coach, Brent didn't take a ton of hits, but he took a few last week. How did he just sort of respond yesterday?
He was fine yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
There's no ill effects, from the game
Okay.
from that standpoint.
Health-wise, you think he looked, just going back to his performance, obviously there was some rust, but just in terms of his health, back to, the old Brett?
Yeah, I don't think, he's still getting treatment. He's got to go through all that. But, you look at like I've always said, he's not going to hold back on that reverse, that Ty ran, got down there. He throws 2 blocks on that play, so he's going to play the game. But, there's going to be the health concern, here for finishing out this year. But, he made it through that game fine.
And just looking at running back with Brad Anderson and Tavares, do you kind of like the way those two play off each other just in terms of their contrasting styles?
I don't know if they play off each other. I was disappointed in some of Brad's runs. He danced a little bit more than what he needed to and what he'd done in the past. He's been really good about putting his foot in the ground and getting north and south. So he's got to get back to that. And then Tavares gives us a bigger back. You go from tackling a 165-pounder to a 230-pounder, and that makes a difference. So we got to find ways to get Tavares in there more and more as this thing progresses down the stretch.
Coach, you just came off a really tough 3 weeks before the last game, losing a couple games, losing a couple players. How much does that decisive victory you achieved last week help you continue to strive to another bowl appearance?
Well, we know what the bowl is out there, but like I said last week, we're not going to win 5 games on Saturday. This week, we're not going to win 4 games on Saturday. So our mindset is a single purpose of trying to win this game this week. And like I said, I told you guys last week, they've written a couple chapters about us, but we're still finishing this book. And when this book is ended at the end of this season, we'll see how it turns out. But all our focus is just winning this week, and we ought to be confident. I think we had a good practice yesterday. I think we've got regained our swagger a little bit, got a little bit of juice about us now, and feel good about moving forward. So, but it's the mental preparation that we have to prepare as well as the physical preparation to play this game this week. And so I think our guys have got a little bit of juice about them now.
Coach, Hassan Klug is one of the best dual threat quarterbacks in the league. What do you guys have to do to limit him on the ground and try and make him throw the ball a little more? I think he has 10 interceptions thrown this year.
Well, he's a really outstanding player. He's really dynamic with his feet. You watch the UAB game, he had a huge part of winning that game for him. Just he's so dynamic, like you said. We've got to do a good job of staying in our rush lanes when it is a pass play. We've got to stay, and make sure we don't give up an edge where he can break outside and get in space and beat you with his feet. The run game, the read zone option game, he's really good. You've got to be disciplined, especially with your eyes. You've got to have gap integrity where you're not two guys in a gap, and now he breaks it out and makes a big play with his feet. So all that is what we have to do, but then I think we really, really have to be good on first down. If we can get them in some longer third down situations, second and long, where kind of put them in a one-dimensional situation, I think that'll behoove us, give us a chance to give us an advantage there. To maybe limit some of their options that they have in the run-pass game with him.
Coach, as you're probably aware, Kevin Byard tied an NFL record dating back to 1970, best two-game stretch in terms of interceptions with 5. How surprised, or are you surprised, by KB's success?
I'm not surprised because I know, it's very difficult to play in the NFL. It's very difficult to start in the NFL, especially for a rookie, for a second-year guy, and then to have the success that he's having. It's a testament. It goes back to, I know what he was here, how he prepared for games, how he approached practice. And I said it many times, when the second team was in at practice, when he was here, he was always in the back taking a mental rep. He was going through his drop, through his reads of the quarterback, and I'm sure he's doing the same thing, there with the Titans. So I'm not surprised, but it goes back to just, the harder you work, the harder you prepare, the more opportunistic you're probably going to be, the better chance you have for having success. So I'm really happy for KB because I know how hard he works, and glad to see him have that success.
How proud are you to have a guy like that associated with your program? And when he makes those plays, I don't know if it happens every time, but Middle Tennessee gets mentioned along with Kevin Byard. Yeah,
it's great. And, you got Eric Walden over there, too, that's doing a good job, on that defense as well. So, but anytime those guys, KB or Eric or, Benny Cunningham, Marquis Shakur, any of those guys in the league right now, anytime, they have success, it goes back to where'd you go to college, and your name is brought up. So it's a great opportunity for Middle Tennessee to stick their chest out with some pride that's one of ours over there doing some really good things, doing something that's obviously very hard to do in the NFL. You go back that far, where 5 interceptions in 2 games. It's not easy to do.
Was Kevin always the student of the game that you sort of describe him to be now?
Yeah, I think so. You know, when he got here, you know, even that first year when he was redshirted, you know, when he was on the scout team, you could see the type of player he was going to be, and he would even stay out after practice then and get on the jugs machine, and people would shoot him balls, you know, where he was catching balls and developing his skill set from that standpoint. But yeah, you know, he always worked in the weight room. He always worked on the practice field. He was always up, you know, in our coaches' offices watching film on his own.
You guys have had a lot of success in the past few years down the stretch. Just wondering, what do you guys do to be so successful in the last few games of the season over the past few years?
Well, you know, that's a good question. We take pride in you know, playing well in November, and you guys have all heard the saying, you remember November, but I think it's a matter of, you know, that no matter what, you know, your situation is, you could be 8-0 and going into November, or 0-8 going into November, and that does you finish every week. You play with great effort, with great tenacity, with great intensity, you know, every week, and that's, we take a lot of pride in, you know, a lot of people, you know, a few weeks ago want to write you off, but we're not going to write ourselves off. And that's the pride, the personal pride, the discipline, the toughness, the mental toughness that you have as a football player. And we practice, you know, every day as hard as we can to get better. And I told the TV people last week, if you came out to our practice and you didn't know our record, you'd have thought we were 9-0 because of the way we practice, with the enthusiasm, with the intensity, the toughness that they practice with. And, you know, you can't do that. You can't turn it on and turn it off week to week. And this team has done a good job of staying focused and staying the course, and we'll continue to fight through here this week.